extradition from Sokoto to Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
Can you give us an update of waiting?
Well, a prison is not a five-star hotel, so anybody that tells you he's comfortable is probably exaggerating. Of course, he's not comfortable, but he's a very strong person.
In my vision, I saw somebody that made me to be happy. I was in a vision and a trance. I saw Nnamdi Kanu walking out of prison.
Nnamdi Kanu was charged under the old law, the 2013 law, Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act. And under that law, the punishment for terrorism, for treason, is the death penalty. And that is why Awomolo SAN, who is lead counsel, lead prosecutor for the federal government, is insisting that, the Court of Justice Omotosho should have applied that old law because it was under that old law that he was charged. However, Justice Omotosho's judgment, the certified true copy, is about 144 pages. I'll just try to take a random look at it. And he convicted Nnamdi Kanu on all the 6 counts, counts 1 to 6. And the reference in all of those counts is that Terrorism Prevention Act of 2013. However, the big issue is about how the trial has gone. 5 judges, and now we have reached this stage at the Federal High Court. And the main issue is the fact that the accused person himself dismissed his legal team. Perhaps if Kanu Agabi SAN and the rest of the defense team had been allowed to defend them, perhaps the outcome may well have been slightly different. There was some talk about written address under ACTA, Administration of Justice Act of 2015. That's discretionary. It's not, a case is not determined on the basis of a written address. It's determined on the preponderance of evidence. And the judge ruled that, in fact, the prosecution had proven its case and provided enough evidence to show that Kanu needed to be convicted. And in any case, he was left with no option because the accused person was asked to enter a defense. He not only sacked his lawyers, he also behaved, in a very confrontational manner in court. So, on the basis of all of this, the judge says, it was a gamble that did not pay off. So, if you look at portions of the 144-page certified true copy, it stayed very closely within the province of the law, even if there was a lot of melodrama in open court, leading to the accused person being asked to look at the court. I was looking for the portion of the judgment about the written address. And I think somewhere down the line there, the judge even admitted that he considered the written address, even if it was submitted late, just to ensure that justice was done. In any case, I've seen some reports saying the case has ended. The case has not ended. Nnamdi Kanu has the option of going to the Court of Appeal. He can even also go all the way to the Supreme Court. But if you look at precedents, it will be very difficult, to upturn the evidence from the lower court and, the position that has been expressed by the Court of Justice Omotosho. I think, and I believe, that this matter has not ended. Because of the political dimension to it, I see a situation whereby at the end of the day, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be pressurized to apply the prerogative of mercy, pardon, and maybe the sentencing can be commuted, or the federal government can do whatever it likes, having refused to interfere in the judicial process by activating Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution, which gives, the Attorney General the power to enter a nolle prosequi, which is to withdraw the case. What I found curious, however, is the triumphalism of Chief Awomolo SAN. I mean, in open court, he was reading from a text, and I was wondering, it looked a bit unusual to me. That why was his statement already written? But maybe I don't understand that part of the proceedings. But he now came out later and addressed the press, or he got interviewed by the press, where he was saying that, oh, now that Kanu has been convicted, there will be peace in the Southeast. People in the Southeast can sleep with both eyes closed. It cannot be so certain, because you've seen that this could also be a signal for resistance in the Southeast. However, he made more important points, namely that we are all Nigerians, that we are all victims when we don't cooperate together to secure this country, when we don't believe in the idea of Nigeria, and that as all Nigerians, we must push towards the idea of unity. Awomolo SAN also, with due respect, made an important point that, look, nobody is above the laws of Nigeria, that we are all under the rule of law. But as I said, the story has not ended. We will see what happens eventually, but President Tinubu can just grant pardon, commit the sentence, and all of us can. Then the political part can come in. The president will say, the judicial process has gone this way. Okay, let us look at this option. My personal opinion. I'm not saying that is what will happen.
It is the document that has become the most important piece of paper in Nigeria right now. A legal plea written by the hand of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself from the isolation of his new cell in the northwest. If you have been following the saga, you know that the transfer to Sokoto was a shocker. But the response from the IPOB leader has been swift, calculated, and legally explosive. The headline is simple: why I don't want to stay in Sokoto prison. But the details contained in the fresh motion filed before the Federal High Court in Abuja are anything but simple. They reveal a man who is fighting not just for his freedom, but for his ability to even access the justice system that convicted him. We are broadcasting this special deep dive analysis today, Thursday, December 4th, 2025, to break down the specific constitutional reasons Nnamdi Kanu has given for demanding an immediate transfer out of Sokoto. We are looking at the 700-kilometer barrier, the logistical nightmare of appealing a life sentence from a remote location, and the terrifying security context of the Lakurawa terror group that makes Sokoto a potential death trap for a high-profile prisoner like Kanu. We are also going to unpack the drama that unfolded in court today when his younger brother, Prince Emmanuel Kanu, tried to stand in for him, only to be shot down by the judge. Let's get straight to the gist of Kanu's argument. In a motion ex parte personally signed by him, which is a rare move that shows his desperation and determination, Kanu has laid out a case that hinges on his fundamental right to a fair hearing. His primary argument is geographical and logistical. He states clearly that the Sokoto Correctional Facility is over 700 kilometers away from Abuja. Now, why does this matter? Because Abuja is where his legal battle is happening. Abuja is where the Court of Appeal is located. Abuja is where the registry of the Federal High Court is. By keeping him in Sokoto, the government has effectively placed a physical barrier between him and the tools he needs to fight his conviction. Kanu argues that the preparation of his notice of appeal and the compilation of records requires his personal interface with the registry. He needs to sign documents, he needs to review evidence, and he needs to strategize with his legal team. But here is the catch. All his lawyers, all his consultants, and all his relatives are based in Abuja or the southeast. Expecting his legal team to fly or drive to Sokoto, a region currently plagued by banditry and terrorism, every time they need to consult him is not just impractical, it is dangerous. Kanu claims this renders his constitutional right to appeal impracticable and occasions exceptional hardship. He is essentially saying, you convicted me, fine, but don't make it impossible for me to challenge that conviction. He is asking for the court to a specific remedy, transfer him to a facility within the jurisdiction of the court. He suggested Kuje Prison, Suleja, or Kefi. These are facilities within the Federal Capital Territory or neighboring states, reachable within an hour or two. This request exposes the government's strategy. By moving him to Sokoto, they didn't just pick a random prison, they picked the one farthest from his support system. It is a tactic of isolation. But there's a darker, unspoken reason why Kanu might be desperate to leave Sokoto, and it has to do with safety. While his motion focuses on legal access, we cannot ignore the Lakurawa factor. We've been reporting on the new terror group, Lakurawa, that has infiltrated Sokoto and Kebbi states from the Sahel. These are not just local bandits. They are foreign-backed jihadists who are seizing territory and imposing their own laws. Just days ago, we had reports of them attacking communities in Kebbi. Keeping a high-value target like Nnamdi Kanu in a prison located in the heart of this insurgency is a massive risk. If the prison is attacked, as we saw in Kuje in 2022 and in Niger State recently, Kanu would be a sitting dog. His transfer request is likely also a plea for survival in a region that is currently a war zone. The drama in court today added another layer to this struggle. Since Kanu sacked his legal team just before the judgment to protest the trial, he is currently unrepresented by counsel. This is why his younger brother, Prince Emmanuel Kanu, tried to move the motion on his behalf, but Justice James Omotosho refused to hear him. The judge was blunt. You cannot represent a human being when you are not a lawyer. He advised Prince Emmanuel to get a lawyer or approach the Legal Aid Council. This creates a catch-22. Kanu needs a lawyer to move the motion to get him closer to his lawyers, but because he is in Sokoto, it is hard for him to interview and engage new lawyers. The judge adjourned the case to December 8th. This gives Kanu just 4 days to find a counsel to argue for his transfer. The judge also made a controversial comment, warning Kanu's former lawyer, Aloy Jumako, about misleading the public. Justice Omotosho insisted that a convict doesn't need to be physically present to compile records of appeal. He said the rights of a defendant are different from the rights of a convict. He is essentially saying, you convicted me, fine, but don't make it impossible for me to challenge that conviction. So where does this leave us? We have a prisoner who is fighting a legal battle from 700 kilometers away. We have a family scrambling to find legal representation by Monday. And we have a security situation in the Northwest that makes every trip to Sokoto a life or death gamble. Nnamdi Kanu's motion is not just about logistics, it's about his fundamental right to fair hearing and his physical safety. If the court rejects this motion on December 8th, Kanu will remain in the Sokoto trap, isolated from his team and vulnerable to the insecurity of the region. What do you think? Is the government using distance as a weapon to frustrate Kanu's appeal? And should the court grant his transfer back to Abuja for the sake of fair hearing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We'll be watching the court on December 8th to see if Kanu gets his wish.
My people, this is Sokoto. I've been in this town for since 2 days now. Today is the 23rd day of November. I came to see Nnamdi Kanu. I have been with him since yesterday, so we have been discussing. So he's in Sokoto Correctional Center here.
Right, everyone, welcome to Pulse Media Services, where we continue to bring out news and information in and around Nigeria. Now, this matter of Kanu's incarceration has continued to generate a lot of comment from the social media and in the general news media. Now, a lot of people wants to know how Kanu is faring in the Sokoto prison, considering the fact that Sokoto is far away from south and even far away from the Federal Capital Territory, where a lot of people had thought Nnamdi Kanu will be in prison. But of course, we have his lawyer now giving us his condition and what is going on around him. I want you to watch this video so that you know the condition of Nnamdi Kanu in the Sokoto prison. Then I will come back with my take. Here is the lawyer to Nnamdi Kanu said prison is not a 5-star hotel. Yes, of course, he's indirectly telling us that yes, no matter what it is, the prison may not be a 5-star hotel, but of course, he didn't come out expressly to tell us that didn't come out to tell us any negative news about Nnamdi Kanu. But of course, from the look of things, it's been taken care of. Yes, there's appeal that will be filed few days time on this matter, and then let's see if the judges, the justices of the appeal court, will have something different or something contrary, or see any reason to knock out or trash the judgment of the lower courts. I'll see you in another video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button so that you're going to see updates from this end. My name is Larry. This is Pulse Media. I'll see you in another video.